Welcome to I'm Too Busy, an interview-based show hosted by a talented makeup artist, Christina Flach. Christina offers viewers a unique blend of personal stories, inspiring journeys, and practical beauty tips. Join the conversation as Christina features successful individuals from various industries who share their insights on health, wellness, makeup, and the keys to their success. So now, please welcome the host of I'm Too Busy, Christina Flach. And welcome to another episode of I'm Too Busy, where we dive into the lives of aspiring entrepreneurs and industry professionals. I am your host, Christina Flach. I am so thrilled today to introduce Marques Ogden. He is a former NFL player who has successfully reinvented himself as an inspirational keynote speaker, entrepreneur, and best-selling author. He is the founder and CEO of Ogden Ventures. Marques has built a powerful personal brand around resilience, authentic leadership. He's a 5-time best-selling author with titles including Sleepless Nights and The Success Cycle, and hosts the insightful podcast, Get Authentic with Marques Ogden, which I have been a guest. What makes Marques's story particularly compelling is his journey through extreme adversity. After retiring from the NFL, he built a construction company that had experienced incredible rapid growth, but ultimately faced bankruptcy, losing almost $3 million on a single project in just 90 days. Starting over as a custodian, Marques rebuilt his life and career through determination and grit. Today, he's a sought-after speaker who has worked with over 75 Fortune 500 companies and more than 20 Fortune 100 organizations, including Amazon, Goldman Sachs, Intel, JP Morgan Chase. His powerful message of resilience and authentic leadership had him featured in USA Today, Forbes, Cheddar News, and Authority magazine. Look at you, mister. Welcome.
How are you, ma'am? Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I know you are a very busy man, so I really appreciate you taking the time.
Always.
You're the best. So let's start with this first question. Your journey from the NFL to bankruptcy to becoming a successful entrepreneur and speaker is really remarkable. Can you walk me through the transition and the key moments that defined your path?
So for me, you know what it was, Christina, after leaving the NFL, I had a almost six-year career, and I struggled immensely with life after the game, like what was going to happen. I got hooked on alcohol, nightlife, all these horrible things because I had no purpose, I had no passion, I had no direction. And what happened was I ended up finally getting into construction, and that was successful. Did very well, made lots of money, was doing everything I wanted to do. I thought I was living the life I was going to always live the rest of my life.
Right.
But in reality, and deep down, right, Christina, I knew that I hated construction. I knew it, but I was making a ton of money. And
right. How do you go between I hate it, but I love all this money?
Right. The money was awesome. I mean, I was at our height, we were almost a $25 million a year company. I was making 7 figures. I had a beautiful home. I got the newest toys, Hummers, this, that, trucks, this, F-250s. I mean, you name it, I bought it. But in reality, I absolutely hated everything about construction. But what happened was I ended up getting too far down the rabbit hole. I was bonding on jobs, and I had lines of credit, and I had a bunch of things that I needed that was personally guaranteeing and all these things. So it was like I was stuck. So I just hated every day, made tons of money, but I just hated every day of life.
Every minute.
It was the worst. And then I got to a point where I made some mistakes, and I started to really just get so caught up in life beyond the construction company, which was like the nightlife, the glamour, the going out, the da-da-da. I really forgot what was the most important factor, which was people that got me to where I was. And I started to treat my people horribly. Then I got onto a project that went south, and I spent about $3 million in 90 days. And the developer and the contractor denied the change order of all the money I spent. I leveraged my home, took out money from a loan shark. I did a home equity line of credit, like you name it, exhausted credit card, company money, everything, it maxed out.
Oh my God.
And boom, I was out of business. And so for me, the life-changing moment for what really set me to start trying to get my life back together was literally getting that phone call from the bank December 23rd, 2012, when they told me they were going to be shutting down our lines of credit. They were going to be coming after everything I owned personally, and have a nice Christmas, you're out of business. That moment made me realize at that time my life was about to be in shambles. So that was that real turning point for me that made me get to a point of like, wow, I'm going to have to start my life all over again. And that led me to leaving Baltimore and going to Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh my God, that must have been so terrifying. I mean,
Oh,
humbling and embarrassed. There was like a million emotions, I imagine you were feeling. Did you feel that you were prepared leaving the NFL? Like, did you feel that, like, I interviewed Elise Steinberg a couple months ago, and
great man.
yeah, he's a good man. And today's the,
Yep, absolutely.
draft day. Do you feel that you had, a team behind you while you were playing, like Elise Steinberg, that really gets his guys? He was telling me that it's really important to him that his players start a foundation, that they, the drinking can't be, and he's pretty clear on his message. Did you feel like you didn't have that type of backing and support?
Oh, I had a fantastic agent in Marvin Demoff, but the thing is, Lee is able to really talk about that, preach that, because the NFL today has programs. We didn't have those back then. The
Right.
NFL Trust, the NFL Legends, the NFL Former Players Services, chapters of former players, or all these different things, the trust, the case managers. There was none of that when I was playing. So my agent, Marvin, was amazing, did everything he could to help me. But now Lee, not only can he talk about it, the NFL, as part of the 2013 CBA, started putting programs into place for that. And that's what allows a lot of players to understand that it's something they should be thinking about, before they play in the NFL, as they're playing in the NFL, and life after the NFL. Because unfortunately, I don't care how great you are. Tom Brady is the GOAT. Phenomenal 20 years career. But Tom is now an ex-athlete. No matter, unless we pass away, unfortunately, I hope none of this happens while we're playing the game. At
Right.
some point, we will become ex-athletes. And we have to have life after. So I didn't have that. But again, to my agent's credit, it wasn't something we were talking a lot about when I was playing.
Right. It is hard transitioning from being a professional athlete to being a civilian. It just is. It's a fact. Do you feel that the NFL is a business, obviously, but do you think that your player's attitude is different from your businessman's attitude?
So I think the attitude of working hard, discipline, grit, doing what you have to do and being dedicated, disciplined, all that, no, that's the same. But again, as an athlete, you're more tactical. Now, of course, you follow a strategy, but the coaches do all that stuff. So they'll give you film to prep, or the playbook for the week, or things you're going to be running in the game. So as a player, you're much more tactical, right? As a business individual, especially if you have an entrepreneur, you have to be more strategic in the beginning. And then maybe as people start to come into the organization, you can get a little bit more tactical. But no matter what, right, Christina, as a player, right, that is now turned to an entrepreneur, you're going to have to always be strategic, because you're the one that's going to move the business forward. And if you're not doing what you need to do, then the business won't move forward.
Right. You've been quoted saying that leadership is not just doing what is right, but doing what is right, what is hard and right. Do you think you would be as successful today as if you did not go through these difficulties?
Absolutely not. There's no way. So I'm in Vegas for a speaking job. Very excited about that tomorrow for Asian Brokers United. And there's a gentleman named Billy who was also speaking. He's a big insurance guy, does very well in the insurance business. He said, you can't have a testimony without a test. And that's the truth of the matter. I don't care you are, if you haven't been through something, a hardship, a struggle, adversity, then I feel you're not going to be as good on the other side. Now, does it mean you can't have what you want? No, of course you can. But I believe failure, lessons learned, experience, whatever you want to call them, are teachers, right? Great quote by Bruce Lee. Okay. Pain will leave your body once it's done teaching you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Think about it, right? When we're working out, right, the pain is reminding you that you need to keep doing this so it hurts less and less over time. That's why I was up to, go to the gym, like, boom, I was there 45 minutes on the elliptical, lower body tomorrow, 45 minutes on the elliptical, upper body, I'm at the hotel. It's not great stuff, but it's better than nothing. I could say, oh, I'm out of town, I'm in Vegas. That could be an excuse. Well, no, excuses aren't going to get it done, right?
No.
Excuses are going to have you where you like you want to live. So again, you have to understand that, and you have to be willing to do the work.
In your darkest moment after losing almost the 3 million, and I'm sorry to bring that up again, but it's so daunting, that number in 90 days. What gave you the strength to start over as a custodian making $8.25 an hour and rebuilding your life? Like, what happened after you got that call from the bank and Christmas? When did you go, okay, I'm doing this, I'm starting over? And how long did that?
So when I got the call, basically in January of 2013, I was starting to pack up and leave the business. I was just going through the formalities, trying to just hang on and pay what I could, knowing that I was looking for somewhere out. I was interviewing for opportunities, got one in Raleigh, Durham, moved to Raleigh, Durham in April 2013. I ended up getting fired from Merrill Lynch about 2 months after going to that job, which was all my fault. Went to a construction company the next day from that, got fired from that job. I was fired twice in the same week. So what happened was I really, at that time, right, Christina, I had acknowledged the business failure. But the thing is, I acknowledged it. I was cognizant, I was aware, but I didn't own it. I didn't accept it. And so for me, it took me getting a job as a custodian for $8.25 to feed my family, my fiance, my stepdaughter, and I knew no matter what, the bills weren't going to stop, right? And so I just had to do something to get myself going. And so that's what I did. And what happened was I got the acceptance moment when I had my spoiled milk rock bottom moment, where someone's trash and rotten meat and nasty garbage got all over me. And that was the beginning of me saying, okay, now I have to accept it. I'm at rock bottom. And one of my favorite quotes by J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter series, rock bottom is the moment that I rebuilt my life. And that was it for me. There was no more down to go after the spoiled milk moment, the trash, the rock. There was nowhere to go but up. So at that moment, that's when I decided, okay, I have got to figure out what I can do. And this is coming from Billy Williams as well, when I was the guy here in Vegas. He said, people normally want to hire you for something you've overcome to help them with something similar that they're trying to overcome. And that's when I said, I want to start speaking to help others. So everything kind of started in that moment. And when I realized that I need to make the change, so that's when I started to actually work on myself and actually work on making the change.
So did you kind of think like this was happening to you instead of for you? Because something shifted in your attitude that you were like, okay, I'm better than this. I'm going to get through this.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what I realized is it was happening to me for a reason, right? And I needed to take this experience and use it to better myself and to better others. So again, it happened to me once I accepted that I was the one that put me there. You can't have acceptance without ownership.
True.
It's not possible. You cannot accept something if you don't own it. And so, like I tell people all the time now in my career, I've learned, I tell clients, look, knowledge is power, but applying knowledge is life-changing. So if you're not going to apply the teachings, the coaching, the resources that we're going to provide, if you're going to come onto our podcast, not share it, not put it out, all this stuff, then you do not need to even bother coming on our show. You don't need to bother hiring me because again, knowledge is power. I mean, it's awesome.
Right.
But are you gonna change your life by applying that knowledge? That's the difference.
How did you keep a positive attitude and the drive to pay off the debt and then succeed? I mean, what was that process like? I'm sure there were days that like you felt really good and you like, okay, I got a little win, and then something would go like, you backpedal a bit. How was that did you go into that athlete's, you know, personality where you're like, I've got a goal and I'm going to succeed?
So that's a great question. So life is like this. I tell our clients, embrace the good, the bad, the ugly, the calm, the beautiful of life. You're going to have great days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have happy days. Great show, by the way. You're going to have down days, right? That's the way it is. The only way you fail is if you quit. That's it. Only way you fail. As long as you keep getting up, getting in the ring, you can have what you want. I tell people all the time, you cannot win the championship belt of your own life by sitting ringside. Can't do it. You can't sit ringside. You can't be a spectator. You got to get in there. And so for me, absolutely, you make a, I remember that first time I started doing like my football training, right? The first day I made like $1,200. This is like 2013. I was selling packages, 3 sessions for $99, or I was selling 6 for $139. I sold like 10, right? So I made like $1,200 total that day. I was so happy. I was screaming up and down. I told my ex-wife, who's my fiance at the time, I can do this. Yay! I didn't get another sale for like almost a week, right? A week. But I kept getting after it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to this awesome podcast, you're not going to always have great days, right? Don't look at social media, looking at people who want to only show you their best, Photoshop stuff, do this, do that, try to show you they're on the private plane, this, that, the other. Like, for example, I was so blessed. I went to see Circus du Soleil here in Vegas yesterday. I put pictures of the place, Bellagio, right? That's a beautiful thing. But also I put on social media that I was broke. I was bankrupt. I was down. I struggled with mental health issues. The divorce that I went through, I had to file almost 3 years ago, literally crushed my soul where I couldn't get out of bed. Like from November 2022 until January 15th is 2023, Christina, it was a struggle every single day just to get out of bed. Just get out of bed. It rocks your confidence. It rocks your life. It rocks how you view yourself, how you approach things, and it makes you question yourself. Am I good enough? Do I look good enough? Do I, need to lose a little bit of weight here or there? And I'm in great shape. So that still it doesn't matter, right? You need to people have these things, right? Confidence is contagious. And so it is if you're not confident. So
Right.
gotta realize that life is a journey and do not look for the quick fix. There is no such thing. Oh my God, Marcus, how'd you buy your $500,000 beautiful home by yourself? How'd you buy a $80,000 car? Not far after that. How did you speak and all that? I've been doing this for 12 years.
That's right.
There's nothing was handed to me at all. And I had been bankrupt. I've been broke. I've had no money. I've had, not know what I was going to be able to pay the bills the next month. I've been at the bottom of the barrel. So that's how I'm able to get people to help them get where they want to go.
You went through a time that you and your mom kind of had a bumpy road as well.
Very much so.
And and I'm sure at the time you thought that she was just not being supportive and loving and kind, but.
Yeah. And so you realize, right, Christine, is that parents, now that I am a parent,
Right.
are going to push you when you don't want to be pushed. They're going to push you out of your comfort zone when you don't want that. They're going to test you when you don't want that. But that's what it is. And so, like I tell my daughters, I have a 21-year-old daughter and I have a 10-year-old daughter. They both know I'm dad, I'm your best friend. You can come to me, but I'm also going to push you. I'm not going to allow you off the hook. I'm not going to allow you just to always look for the easy way out. If you want something in life, you're going to have to show me that you want it just as bad. And I'm going to then help you. But don't come to me to help you if you haven't done the work to show me that you really want my help.
Right? You're not going to reward bad behavior or,
No.
what did you have to unlearn?
I had to unlearn how to stop being such a busy, loud, bold, audacious talker. I used to talk so much, and I'm a speaker, but I speak when it's for clients. I coach and communicate when it's for clients. Podcasts like this are great, trying to help people, but it's like it takes time to get to a certain point of like understanding how you can help people. But before, I would just talk just to hear myself talk. When I ran Caden, I was running it from what I call personality ethics, things like rage, wrath, envy, anger, instead of character ethics like honesty, loyalty, truth, sovereigns. And, it cost me a lot, a whole lot. And even now, trying to date and things of that nature, right? Talk about the whole thing. I've learned how to be a better listener, even in that regard, because that's what a lot of people in dating, I find, they don't know how to listen. They don't know how to have a conversation. They want to talk, talk, talk. And so I kind of sometimes people say, well, are you going to say anything? Like, oh, no, I'm here. I'm just listening to you. I'm here, but I don't need to talk a whole lot, especially when you date somebody that you already Googled you. I'm like, well, you already Googled me. You already know this a lot about me. So tell me about you. And so that's what I had to unlearn is how to stop talking so much and start listening a whole lot more.
Don't you think that takes time to get comfortable in your own skin? Because perhaps before, when you were so different than you are now, you weren't as comfortable in your skin as you are at the present time.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. Again, remember, I was loud, I was bold, I was chatty, I was verbose because I didn't know anything about construction. I didn't know the business. I
You were
didn't know
in an
big.
uncomfortable situation to begin with. How could you succeed? And especially
Right,
when we've talked about this, before, you can't be an entrepreneur unless you love it. You can't
right.
be an entrepreneur if you're going in it to make a lot of money, because it takes more time, effort, and everything and money than And if you're not loving it, you're going to fail because you're going to resent it.
So that's why that failed. Now get this. So we have a very successful brand now. I mean, we've done very well, multiple six figures going to seven, we've done well. We didn't have any real systems at all until probably like the last like 1 to 2 months. That's it. We've hired some people and we're now getting systems, how to use our CRM, how to automate stuff, how to do LinkedIn messaging, like how to use my Calendly. I mean, all these things, like we've had no structure in our business to really be how successful we are. It's just been good old fashioned, old school ways. And
Right.
so now we're shifting that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta go through the whole process, which means you're gonna have to go through the good, bad, the ugly, calm, the beautiful. And in business, if you're not gonna get innovative, you can make it. I mean, we did, but boy, was it hard. And now over the last about week or so, right? I'm seeing like, wow, we've got the right people in the right places. We've got systems on how we market. I know who's going to have this part of the business. I literally just moved one VA from lead gen, where she was struggling, to now a traditional VA role. All of her tasks I asked her to do today got knocked out. Things that I shouldn't be doing, now she'll be doing, right? Ladies and gentlemen, to be an entrepreneur, remember this, treat yourself like the pro that you are. If you're constantly doing something and people email you, call you, message you, whatever, and you stop what you're doing to respond to that and go there and go back over here and go back over there, what's going to happen is nothing gets done. Or worse yet, the quality of your work goes down, which means clients are going to leave you. And what happens? You don't have any revenue. So treat yourself like a pro, right? Understand that you have to get these things in line, right? I tell you all the time, manage your clock and your calendar as an entrepreneur. If you don't, it'll manage you. And that's where I was struggling for so long. Again, could I get things done? Yes, absolutely. But I was working 12, 14, 16 hours a day at times because I was constantly getting interrupted, going to this, going to that. And then, oh man, I didn't get this done today. I got to work overnight. I got to work extra. Blah, blah. Now I have a system. Now we have the right people. Now I treat myself like a pro. And as a result of that, our business is flourishing. So that's my advice to you if you're listening. You have to treat yourself like the pro that you are. You're not an amateur, you're a professional.
Love that. Your podcast is called Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. Why is authenticity so important to you, and how has it shaped your approach to business and life?
Authenticity is the core of everything that we do. Period. Authenticity to me, knowing who you are in the moment, knowing the moment is going to change. If you are not willing to accept that and grow and better yourself, then please do not even bother starting the journey of trying to be an entrepreneur, because it's not going to stay the same. It's not, life doesn't stay the same. So you got to learn how to move, pivot. That's another problem people have. When adversity hits, they don't pivot. You can't stay stagnant. Again, the way we approach business a year ago, 2 years ago, we don't do it that way now. We have some things basically like speaking, coaching, but we have a community. We do AI. We have a second podcast that we're about to launch. You know, we're always moving and grooving. Why? Because that is the core of authenticity to us.
I love that. You've written 5 best-selling books. What's the central message you hope readers take away from your writing, and are you inspired to write another book?
Yes, I'm inspired to write another book. I'm actually working on that right now. And then the second question absolutely is this response. I want people to understand that they have to have the power to make the decision to take one step forward every single day. You cannot sit around and wait for others to help you or move you in the direction. You have to move yourself.
Right. You've spoken for to over 75 Fortune 500 companies. What's your process for connecting with such diverse corporate audiences, making your message resonate?
It's really the message of learning how to thrive in the eye of the storm and how to push through adversity. Because I don't care who you are, every company has some adversity, some struggle to push through, and we're able to align our mission and our mantra to their mission and their mantra. And when that happens, we call that alignment around a unified vision. And when that happens, Christina, everybody is moving in the direction to go where they need to go. So that's what it's all about.
Can you share with me a particularly memorable speaking engagement and why it stood out to you?
Yeah, my first Fortune 500 client, NetApp, did it in Chicago at Mike Dick's Steakhouse, and I bombed it. I did horrible. And my good friend Dave Nisvisky, who hired me, gave me feedback. Marcus, great passion, great energy, wrong topic. You were talking about your construction company. The audience was doctors. You want to hear about your concussions, NFL, that stuff. 6 months later, he hired me again to speak for him in Miami. Nailed that. Got my first Fortune 500 testimonial letter and was off to the races.
Interesting. You've interviewed Michael Strahan and Joe Namath. What's the most valuable lesson that you've learned from those conversations?
That everything in life that people have attained greatness, they've had to put the work in, and there was absolutely no sugarcoating or no way around that. Every successful person I've met, that I know, that I've interviewed, they all have the same premise. You have to do the work. Consistency is the key to your greatness. Don't be, you're not consistent, it will not work. Plain and simple.
What does falling forward mean to you? And how do you teach others to embrace this concept?
Simple. Learn from your mistakes. That's what it is. Because we're all going to make them. But don't make them and not learn. Don't make the same mistake over and over again. Make a mistake, learn from it, keep moving forward. Try to minimize making mistakes, which is going to be awesome if you can, but we're all going to make them. So pay attention and just learn from your mistakes. That's failing forward.
So how has your approach to risk changed from your days as a contractor to now running Ogden Ventures? You check in with your team weekly and you don't micromanage. Was that a difficult skill to learn for you?
No, because failure is a lesson learned.
Right.
I was constantly micromanaging, on top of people, yelling at people, all these things when I was in my business of construction. Today, we talk to each other, we communicate, we have once a week check-ins with the team. Do you need anything from me? How's it going? What do you need? Do you have any resources? Do you have any things, any problems? What's up? And that's how we move forward. So again, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta learn how to keep things moving. Don't micromanage, but don't forget to check in also.
Right. As a business coach and consultant, what are the most common obstacles you see holding people back from success?
The ability to learn how to ask for help. So many people get so afraid to ask for help because they think it's a sign of weakness. And what happens is your ego and your pride gets in the way. And then what happens is something usually goes wrong. And at that moment, you're trying to rebound or play catch up. And that's very hard to do. And then that's why a lot of people struggle. But so many people just do not ask for help. So if you want to be great, you have to learn how to ask for help. We call it embrace dynamic subordination.
I love it. Looking ahead, what are your goals for the next 5 years, both professionally and personally?
To start a not-for-profit is our biggest goal. It's a combination of personal and professional. Want to help more kids in disadvantaged areas get resources to know that they have the opportunities to do and be something great. They just need somebody to believe in them, just like my grandfather used to do for kids in Southeast DC as a boxing trainer for the Boys and Girls Club. So that's one of our big personal and professional combined goals in the next 5 years.
Where's your happy place?
At home with my daughters.
Yeah.
That's when I moved into that house and I had light and I saw Farah and Ava smiling, especially Farah having her own room, friends in the neighborhood, all these things. It made everything I've done to get there that much more worth it.
What do you do when your day isn't flowing?
I stop and I pause and then I reset. Like my uncle used to always tell me, just be still. If things aren't moving, if things aren't grooving, be still and don't try to force it. Just learn how to sit in the moment, embrace that, reset yourself, and then come back to the drawing table.
How important is self-care to you?
It's everything.
And diet and exercise. What are your favorite things you're doing right now?
Everything. I mean, I eat a lot better. I mean, I'm a former lineman, so I used to not eat so well, but now I eat better, a lot better. I mean, I like my steaks, my vegetables, my proteins, my meat. I have my carbs. I try to limit those. I try to limit soda. I don't drink any more energy drinks. I haven't had an energy drink since, wow, like about 4 months ago, like mid-December, after going to the brain and body assessment and getting my body, assessed. I was 77% muscle, but my glucose was high. So they got me to try to tweak that. So I stopped doing energy drinks. I stopped with the hot chocolates. I stopped with like strawberry shakes, a lot of sweets and things like that. And so I've lost about 30 pounds. I'm down about 290, 295. And, I feel even better. And I work out constantly. I worked out this morning here in Vegas. I go to the gym 6 days a week, and I'm big on self-care, pedicures, facials, physical therapy, all those things. I'm big on that because without it, then you're not taking care of yourself, in my opinion.
I agree. And I also think you can take better care of everyone else when you're taking care of you.
Always.
I love how you say that you should never tell your mind something negative, even in a joking way, because your mind can't tell the difference. How did you come to that realization?
Oh, that's a Bruce Lee quote. And I learned it, studied it, and I analyzed it, and it's absolutely true. And the minute you start telling you something negative, is the minute your body starts to shut down all day, every day. So constantly, I'm doing the best I can to tell myself things positive to keep myself going in the right direction. If your body is feeling a certain way because of what your mind's saying, at some point, it will shut down.
What do you wish you could tell your 20-year-old self?
Learn how to be humble. I was not very humble in my 20s. I was kind of arrogant. I was very about me. And it really took me losing my company and everything that I own to really make that adjustment. But again, I was not very humble. So I would tell my younger self, learn some humility and practice gratitude, which is the biggest crusher of ego.
Right. What would people be shocked to know about you?
That I'm big into like art. Like I went to see Circus du Soleil. I'm kind of big into like the arts and movement and that type of activity. Like that was a very compelling show I went to yesterday evening. I'm very big into the arts, Broadway, musicals, things like that. A lot of people don't know that about me.
I love that. What advice would you give to athletes and entrepreneurs?
Just keep going. It's not going to be easy, no matter what you do. Again, you only fail if you quit.
That's true. How do you want to be remembered?
A giver. I'm big on giving, helping others, and helping others fulfill their dreams. That's one of my biggest things I want to be remembered for.
I love that. What have I not asked you that you want to share?
Nothing. I mean, it's been a great interview, and I'll just tell people this. Last thing I'll say. In times of extreme darkness, focus on the light. Aristotle.
Oh, that's a good one.
Always remember there is light, and a lot of times you are the light. Don't be afraid to turn on your internal switch.
I love that. Marques, I can't thank you enough for being here today. I know you're too busy, and I really am grateful that you shared your time with me, because to me, time is the greatest gift that anyone could give. So I want to thank you so much. I wish you nothing but love, light, and happiness. And I am Christina Flach, and I'm too busy. I'll see you next week.
This has been I'm Too Busy with host Christina Flach. Tune in each week as Christina approaches the concept of success holistically, recognizing that achievement is not solely measured by financial triumphs, but also by maintaining a healthy work-life balance and focusing on self-care. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network, powered by B2 Studios.